So I'm the general manager of the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada, which is Las Vegas. And every transit and transportation agency in every metropolitan area is a little bit different. And in Las Vegas, we're lucky because we actually have most of the transportation type functions under one umbrella, the RTC. So we operate the public transit system. We are the MPO, the Metropolitan Planning Organization, so we have some responsibility as well for urban planning and regional planning. We are also the ITS agency, or the Traffic Management Agency, so anything having to do with technology and managing traffic is under our umbrella. And then we're also the Roadway Planning and Funding Agency, so we work with our cities and county to prioritize roadway infrastructure and the funding for that. Sure. So more than anything else, at this point, what's happening with cities and counties and metropolitan areas is a massive educational effort, trying to learn how are these changes going to affect what's expected out of the infrastructure. How do we prepare our infrastructure not just for next year, but for the next 10 and 20 years? We want to be really careful to not invest in anything that is not going to be of value to our taxpayers over the next few years. We know that autonomous vehicles and connected vehicles are coming, and we know that for these new transportation shared use services as well, to really be effective, they need to understand the infrastructure that they're operating under. Our infrastructure at this point, we've actually worked with Audi, so that when you buy a new model Q7 Audi, it has the ability to receive information from our traffic lights that tells the driver how many more seconds until that light turns green. And those types of partnerships and efforts are going to be very, very important in order for the infrastructure to not hold back the potential safety and efficiency aspects that can come with the technology that's there. So we're really trying to learn, and we appreciate Smart Cities Council and their effort to convene these conversations, because we read what you produce, we go to your convention, your conferences, because it's our way of understanding and being as smart as we can as we invest taxpayer dollars moving forward. I would say we love to talk about autonomous vehicles, and inevitably that is coming. But the first steps that I really think the average consumer, the average community member is going to see is connected vehicles. Again, vehicles that can read the infrastructure around it, communicate with the infrastructure around it, and also shared use mobility services. And I think these shared use mobility services and connected vehicles combined together will eventually prod all of us out of our vehicles. We're going to get to a point where we realize private ownership of a car is so onerous and expensive. Parking, you have to pay to park, you have to pay to insure, you have to pay to register, you have to pay to have a place to store your vehicle in your house. And yet we only use it about 5% of the time. It's the most inefficient tool we really have. We use it the least, and yet we pay for it the most. Consumers are going to start to go towards shared use mobility as a service, and that is going to have a really big impact on urban landscape and just on travel patterns as a whole. So again, trying to stay aware and apprised of this progress, so that we're making smart decisions with our infrastructure dollars now. Have got to have the ability to really be flexible. I think leaders in transportation, especially for the RTC, where we have several transportation components under our umbrella, your role really becomes that of convener and collaborator more than anything else. You have got to start, you can't be in your silo anymore. If you're a city or a county or a health and human services department, public safety department, for the first time ever, private sector, public sector, we have to all be talking. We've never had to do that before. We all operate we've all managed our cities and our responsibilities very effectively. You don't have that option anymore. It's going to be much more regional, and these decisions have to be, your decisions have to be much more inclusive than they ever were. And you have to have the ability to convene, collaborate, and lead a conversation. Just to be an engineer isn't going to be enough anymore. Just to be a transit planner isn't going to be enough anymore. It's going to be about those leadership skills to collaborate and convene a region-wide effort.